After the e-tron and the e-tron GT, Audi now presents with the Q4 e-tron the first fully battery electric car in the compact segment. How that car drives, how it behaves, what it delivers, how about charging and range, we're going to find out today. If you're interested in a Q4 e-tron, you have to expect a price here in Germany, which starts at about 43,000 euros. If you want the middle version, which is the Q4 40 e-tron, that starts at 47,500. And if you want to have the top one, it's the car that we're driving, then you have to expect something around 53,000. With a width of 1.87 m, the Q4 e-tron is rather compact and, typical Audi, comes with a large single-frame radiator grille. For the first time, it's now possible to order Matrix LED headlights, which offer 4 different daytime running light signatures to choose from. The base version of the Q4 e-tron is already very nicely equipped, so you will always have a climate control on board, and you will also have, for instance, this multifunctional steering wheel and a lot of other stuff. But it is not a real Audi if you can't configure a lot of extras into that car, and with that you have to be quite careful, because you can easily raise the price of the car quite up to the sky if you do click everything you may like. One option that you may think about is the so-called Edition 1 models, because they do offer quite a nice package of extras, but they are not very cheap, so you can easily pay 8,000–9,000 extras for these models as well. At the moment, you can order 3 different powertrains for the Q4 e-tron. The smallest one is for the Q4 35 e-tron, which offers you 125 kilowatts as a maximum, and that's a rear-wheel powered car. The next step is the Q4 40 e-tron, that then features 150 kilowatts, also rear-wheel powered. The top version, the car we're driving, is the Q4 50 e-tron Quattro, and as you can hear, this is a car with 2 engines, so both axle are powered, and that car features up to 220 kilowatt as a maximum. Important with this engine is the rear one is a permanent synchron engine. The front one is an asynchron engine, which can just run if not needed without giving you any negative effects. When we talk about performance, the top version accelerates from 0 to 100 km/h in only 6.2 seconds. Top speed for all the models is 180 km/h. When we talk about range, the winner here is the Q4 40 e-tron. That offers you up to 520 kilometers regarding to WLTP, but also the top version offers you a little less than 490. The materials and the craftsmanship in that car are typical Audi, so I would say on a quite high level. So you will find soft touch, you will find leather, you will find metal, you will find glossy black and loads of very nice surfaces, and that together really gives the car a very, very nice look. Everything is really nicely made, and if you're looking for plastic, you will find it a little bit lower than the center console, which means yes, of course there is plastic, but that's also very nicely made, so it looks great. It gives you, it doesn't make any disturbing noises, so that really is something I really do like inside on the car. Another thing which I really do like is how these displays and everything is orientated to the driver, which really surrounds you, and that gives you the perfect cozy feeling while driving. On the side, the Q4's large wheel catch the eye. The base version comes already on 19-inch rims. However, 20 and 21-inch alloy wheels can be ordered. Overall, the Q4 e-tron is 4.59 m long and has a wheelbase of 2.76 m. The wheel arches are strongly emphasized by distinctive lines. Together with the high shoulders and a flat window graphic, this ensures a very dynamic look. There are no analog instruments anymore in that car, so the cockpit always features a 10.25-inch screen, which you can configure the way you want. So you can have, for instance, with the view button here, you can change between the 2 different views, and on top of this you can have different informations in the center, which means you can have things like range, things like infotainment, or the big map, or whatever you prefer to look at. On top of this, you will always have a 10-inch touchscreen for the infotainment, and that infotainment features live data. You can also connect with Apple CarPlay and Android Auto to your mobile devices. You of course find digital radio and many other things. If you say 10.1 inch is not enough, you can have up to 11.6 as well. The maximum boot capacity of the Q4 e-tron is 520 liters with the rear seats up, and that increases up to 1,490 if you fold down the complete rear bench. But that's the normal one. If you talk about the more sporty, the e-tron Sportback, that car delivers 15 liters more with the rear seats up and 30 less with the rear seats down. Of course, you can tow things with your Q4 e-tron. This is an optional feature. The maximum tow capacity is 1 ton for the rear-wheel powered cars and 1.2 for the Quattro version. The most important driver assistance safety systems are always on board as standard. For instance, you will always find a lane assist, and you will also always find all the emergency braking systems. But of course, this is an Audi and you can have a lot more. Most of it is packed in quite nice packages, and so you will definitely find what you're looking for to make the car as comfortable and as safe as you want. The rear is dominated by the broad shoulders and the flat taillights connected by a light band. In addition, the e-tron signature was embossed in the rear bumper, making clear that this is an electric vehicle. The amount of space that car features here at the front row is really very nice. So me, I'm about 1.95 meters tall. I do sit perfectly and very comfortable in the car. Everything is adjusted the way I want, and I still have some head space left. Our car is featuring the sport seat with the integrated headrest, and this is something for tall people which not fits perfectly, but they are very comfortable. But if you're a tall person, you have to try, because there are other optional seats available. How much space the car offers behind me, we're going to find out while having a short stop. So this is the short stopover to see if I can sit behind me. I didn't change my sitting position, and now, that doesn't look bad. I think entering is easy. Let's see. Yeah, that really works. So if you can see, I do have about one hand space in front of my knees. There is no headroom left, but still, I'm 1.95 meters, quite heavy, I would say, and I sit behind me. And yeah, that absolutely works. But the only downside is when I talk about my foot, because my feet are under the seat and they do not have any space left. One reason, of course, is the seat is at the lowest point because I'm quite a tall person, but I would expect a bit more, but nothing really important. An absolute highlight is for sure the new head-up display, and that really not only projects a very nice and big picture in front of the car on the road to really assure that you will always have your eyes where they belong. But on top of this, that now features augmented reality, which means you do get extra information like where you're going to go regarding to directions from the sat-nav, or how far away is the car in front of you, and if you're in the middle of the lane or not. So loads of very nice and very nicely, presented information while driving. The Q4 e-tron not arrives a moment too early on the market, because there are already some competitors in the compact electric SUV segment. The Polestar 2, the Mercedes EQB and the Skoda Enyaq are also belong to this vehicle category. And the new Hyundai Ioniq is also coming soon. My test car should take up to 20 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometer driven, and as you can see in the cockpit, we used 21.5, which is really close to the datasheet. But I have to be honest, so we drove on the motorway at the beginning of our test drive, and there you should expect something about 24, 25, and we had a speed of about 120, 130 kilometers per hour. But now, after about 110 kilometers, as you see, the average is now 21.4. And I think that really is quite a nice number. There are two different batteries available for the Q4 e-tron. So the smallest engine, which is the Q435 e-tron, that one features a 52 kilowatt hour battery net capacity. The other two, they do have a 77 kilowatt hour battery on board. When we talk about charging, Audi promises 100 kilowatt as a maximum charging rate for the smaller, and 125 for the bigger battery if you're on a DC charger. If you go on a wall box, that's a 7.4 or 11 kilowatts. When we talk about the charging time, they say, of course, we will not reach that here because our car still has about 35% battery left. But if everything is perfectly set up, you're gonna reach about, in 10 minutes of time, 130 kilometers of extra range. Recuperation is crucial for an electric car, and so Audi offers a standard mode which is called D, and that is like if you lift the foot off the pedal, it's like sailing, so nothing really happens. It's even less than with a combustion engine and an automatic gearbox. But on top of that, you can have B, which is a completely different mode because that one provides you with a maximum recuperation, and if you then lift your foot, the car really reduces speed massively. And if you say you don't like that, you also have the opportunity in D to change the between different modes while using these pedals here at the steering wheel, and so you can really adjust the level of recuperation the way you want. Regarding to the storage compartments, Audi really made their homework when we talk about the Q4 e-tron. So you will not only find standard compartments in the door, at the front, in the lower part, you will also find a bottle holder here at the top, which is perfectly reachable. On top of this, you have the center console here, which is looking like it's hovering. And beneath that, you have a big compartment where you can also use wireless charging. Behind that, you do find 2 extra cup holders, and then you have this adjustable armrest with quite a big compartment underneath that. On top, at the front, you will find a standard glove box. Looking on the rear seats, yes, of course, you do have standard compartments in the door, but you will also find these bottle holders as well, very similar to the ones here at the front. And on top, if you need extra cup holders, you of course find 2 of them in the middle armrest on the rear seats as well. That was my first test drive in the new Audi Q4 50 e-tron Quattro, the actual top model of the new Audi Q4 e-tron series. And I have to say, yes, of course, that car is an absolute pleasure to drive, but I think a modern battery electric vehicle must deliver more, and this is what Audi promises. So they say that car should take up to 20 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometer driven, and as you can see in our display, it shows us about 21. Quite nice. And with that, I think a real range of about 300 up to 400 kilometers with a fully charged battery in a normal traffic situation, but depending on the drive and the weather, should be easily achievable. On top of that, with that trim level, with that amount of extras, this car, of course, is an absolute pleasure, and it's comfortable, quiet, and really nice to drive. But that car got its sticker price, and I expect something about 70,000 euro. But if you want to pay this, you really get something very nice to drive with.